G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the Arsehole? With that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and let's get right into it. Am I the arsehole for having a craving of something that makes my partner sick? I recently found out that I was pregnant with my partner Lyle's baby. We've been together for 3 years, and we live together. Lyle has ADHD, which he refuses to get treatment or medication for. He's pretty normal about 85% of the time, so I haven't really pushed it. One thing that really affects him though is sensory problems. He has a few, but the biggest one is bananas. He cannot stand the smell of a banana or the taste of banana. He has accidentally eaten something with banana before and ran to the bathroom like a child to throw up. If we are somewhere and someone is eating a banana, he will claim that he can smell it in the room and make us move with the threat that he will get sick. If we don't move, he will start gagging, make himself throw up, and I've seen him start shaking too. This has happened in public before, and it's extremely embarrassing. Anyway, let me tell you what happened. I was really tired, pregnant, and hormonal yesterday, and while I was watching my show, I had a craving for a banana, which I normally avoid when around Lyle. But pregnancy cravings are just too strong to resist. He was going to get groceries from work, so I called and asked him to get me some bananas because I was having a craving. He started begging me before he even got them to not eat them in the house, and I just got fed up and told him no, that I was carrying his child, and the least he could do about it, since he's not the one having to nurture the damn thing in his stomach, was to get me a banana. I had read online that this was probably the baby's way of telling me it's deficient in potassium, and that all I could really stand to eat at that point was the damn banana, and I don't want to deprive it of what it needs. He argued back and forth, asking me to go eat it outside at least, and out of frustration, I just started crying, which made me feel embarrassed. He finally gave in to calm me down and brought it home. I will admit, I was really mad and upset from our argument on the phone when he came home, and I, in that moment, couldn't face getting up and going to the kitchen. When he came into the living room and sat on the couch, I asked him to peel it, cut it, and bring it to me. I really didn't think that was a big deal, but he blew up at me and told me that I knew that it made him sick to even smell or touch. I told him that plenty of people have foods they don't like, and he either needs to grow up or seek help for his illness because he's acting like a child, and his problem with bananas is completely abnormal. We argued a bit more, and he finally got up, yelled that he was tired of my bullcrap, and left the house. He hasn't been back yet. I get his issues are a sensitive topic for him, and when I was talking to my friend about it, she said she had an autistic sister, and what I did was a bit messed up. So Reddit, am I the arsehole? I'm going to go with yes, you're the arsehole. This is very obviously a sensitive issue for him. He has sensory issues, especially around bananas. Yet you bulldoze him and you try to get him to do things that are against what he wants to do. I think you're an absolute arsehole for doing that to him, OP. You can go and cut your own bananas and eat your own bananas outside of the house and respect his boundaries. Very obvious boundaries that you understand, yet you want to trample all over. It doesn't sound like you're very much a loving partner in this instance. I'm gonna go with you're the arsehole for this one. Now in the comments, I was with you until you made him peel and cut it for you, knowing how he reacts to it. You're an arsehole for that. Just peel and eat the damn thing. And I'm guessing you're not far enough along that you can't grab the banana and toss it afterwards yourself. You're the arsehole. Wow. You keep saying that he's acting like a child, but you're the one who acted out of petty vengeance. I like bananas, so it's hard for me to relate to that, but there are certain dishes that absolutely repulse me. He brought you the banana to his dismay because he felt bad for you that you cried. And how did you reciprocate him? You wanted to humiliate him, making him do something that he despises for your satisfaction that you made him do that. I also don't like it when people repeatedly write, he's acting like a child. It seems like people try to diminish one's needs, preferences, and wants by saying that. You can't evaluate his maturity. It seems like you don't respect him as a partner. Moreover, I would act like him if I were in his position. Who wouldn't? You're the arsehole. Cravings in pregnancy don't give you the right to treat your partner like crap. If you think that he's such a child and exaggerating his sensory issues, why did you choose to have a child with him in the first place? Get over your effing self. As an ADHD adult that has ADHD children, people like you are the worst. Sensory issues are very real, and you telling him to grow up is pathetic. Heaven forbid that your unborn child also has ADHD because you know it's hereditary. Also, who cares that he's unmedicated? Being on meds does not help with sensory issues. OP says, the child wasn't planned. He just got me pregnant. Oh, I didn't realize you weren't an active participant in the conception of this child. That changes everything. And now on to the update, which is a response from Kyle, not Lyle. Hey guys, it's Kyle here, Jessica's boyfriend. Yes, she literally changed my name from Kyle to Lyle, and thought that that was good enough. One of her friends sent me this, and I want to set the record straight because I am beyond pissed off. First of all, I want to address this refuse to get treatment or medication bullcrap. I was diagnosed with ADHD as an effing child. It took until college to realize that I needed to adapt things to how my brain worked rather than slap a medication over it and try to pretend that I'm neurotypical. I adapt well in life. I graduated on the dean's list in college, and I'm doing well at my dream job and thriving as an ND person. Do I still forget about the laundry sometimes, or have a hard time focusing on certain things, especially when I'm tired? Yes. And it pisses Jess off. Does that mean that I have issues? F no. This medication BS started almost immediately after we found out that Jess was pregnant like a month ago. It wasn't approached like, hey Kyle, I notice XYZ that seems to be hard for you, I think that you need help with that. I was instead first asked if my ADHD was going to spread to the baby. Literally, spread was used. And secondly, told that I should probably take this as a chance to get it under control, because she didn't want the baby to grow up dealing with any problems. Now let's get to the sensory aversions. I've been through therapy to manage it. I can now, after years, touch paper towels without my gums hurting, but bananas I just cannot deal with. People who aren't ND and don't deal with sensory aversions don't understand that it is literally physically painful in many cases, and genuinely makes me sick. I don't make myself throw up. My body naturally reacts like that. Jess has told me many times how embarrassed she is by it and how it affects her, and her solution is exposure therapy, the couch story. What she doesn't realize is that that's essentially the same thing as torture to me. Oh, isn't it ever? There are some cases, like the paper towels, where I've realized it is just a little too common. But bananas are not common enough for me to sit there and torture myself just to make her feel less embarrassed next time she wants me to try a smoothie that her sister made and lie about the ingredients. Finally, other details I think are important. I'm just going to bullet these because I'm going to write too much otherwise. Jess was binge watching a show on Netflix and wanted me to bring her a banana while she watched the show on the couch. We are in a one-bedroom apartment, and the smell would probably be there for at least a day. We had gotten in an argument about my ADHD and me not having meds the day before, so this didn't seem like a sudden craving, but more a cruel jab since it was still tense. The pregnancy wasn't planned, and no random commenter, I didn't effing assault her. She was on birth control and it failed. She wasn't too sick to get up, she was too lazy and pissed, and told me to go cut it for her because I just want to watch my show in peace. I will admit though, I snapped when she insisted that I cut the banana and do just this one thing for our child to show I care. As if she didn't go out and quit her job pretty much immediately without even telling me, and I'm now dealing with all of the household expenses while she shops. I have also been caring for most of the house, because she's already claimed being too pregnant from morning sickness. So yes, I was fed up with her bullcrap. ADHD is not an issue, it just means my brain works a little different. I am so tired of the ableist bullcrap that's come from nowhere. Damn, Kyle, that was a lot. I do hope that you find a solution to this one, because that doesn't sound like you guys have much in common. It doesn't sound like you have much reason to stay with her, Kyle. I do honestly wish you all the best in this, and I just want what's best for you in this situation, I'll be real. Now in the comments to this comment, "Hi Kyle, please break up with her." Fellow ADHDer here with a mild aversion to bananas and worse ones to a specific frozen lasagna. Garfield punch in the air right now. I don't know if there is other lasagnas, but it's the one that my partner likes. Ranch, and I live in the Midwest, so RIP me. And a lot of spices found in Mexican food. And man, I know it's rough. If it's a common food, it can be so hard to get people to believe you. I can still remember being forced to sit at the kitchen table for hours because I wouldn't touch the dinner my dad made, which was especially memorable as my family was generally really good about my picky eating and scent aversion, and nearly fainting in cooking class when we made some sort of vegetable dish with a really strong smell. Good on you for finding ways to adapt and cope. I hope you find a partner who accepts you as you are completely. You sound like a solid dude. There's another comment from Kyle that says, "Lyle here. So my ADHD is treated, just not to my girlfriend's liking. I've worked a lot on adaptation, and I do well, and am successful in what I do. On the contrary, Jess sits on the couch and does nothing all day. I have a history of reacting poorly to medication too. The sensory aversions are very difficult to get rid of, and vague treatment, quote unquote, isn't a magic solution or guarantee that it will just go away. This all started after she got pregnant and did a 180 as far as personality goes. Suddenly, it became all about how I'm going to spread it to my child and make their life awful, all because I can't deal with bananas, and I sometimes forget to change out the laundry or reply to a text." Wow, thank you for providing context. She made it seem like you were just avoiding treating your ADHD at all in her post. It seems like she just hates you having ADHD and blames it for any relationship issues regardless of what is the true cause. And it sounds like she is the true cause for a lot of it. I'm so sorry that she's treating you like this. Kyle replies, "To people without ADHD, treatment means I sit in a room where they make me touch a banana and then we talk about it for 30 minutes and then they stone me on some bennies till I can't walk straight." ADHD treatment really looks like talking to a specialist, figuring out how to adapt and be productive, and then applying those skills long term. I see my PCP once a year, and that's about it right now, but I've been doing well. Unfortunately, there is nothing that'll ever really fix the banana problem, nor is there really a need to suck it up and try to work through it like some other aversions. Today I learned. Our next post is titled, "Am I the asshole for not giving my nephew his birthday gift?" Just bear with me for a moment. My 29 female nephew Josh, 12 male, is quite spoiled. His parents, my brother and sister-in-law, show blatant favoritism towards him over his younger sister Lou, 9 female. As a result, sadly, Josh has grown a little entitled. He's also quite mean to his younger sister because his parents never believe her when she tells him what he's done to her stuff. Now, I'm usually very strict, and when the kids are with me for a weekend, Josh is usually on his best behavior. Josh's birthday was yesterday. Lou had a spelling bee last week and she got first prize. Her parents brushed it off, but I was very happy for her because she spent hours learning each word, and I was very proud. So when I took the kids the day before Josh's birthday so he could pick out a gift for his birthday, I got Lou a stuffed animal as a "you did great." Josh picked this game that he's been wanting. The birthday party was yesterday, and when I went to their house, Lou had been grounded and was not allowed to attend, and the 2 friends she had invited were also sent back home. I thought that it was extreme and asked what she had done. Turns out that Josh and her argued over the TV remote, and Josh went to her room and destroyed her stuffed animal that I gave her and told her that she didn't deserve it. Lou screamed at him, and my brother got angry with her temper tantrum and had her pick up the pieces of the stuffed animal and throw them in the trash, all while she cried. She was then grounded. By the way, Josh's best friend was the one who spilled the beans to me and also told me that Josh goaded his parents into the punishment. I was furious and refused to give Josh his birthday present, telling him he didn't deserve it for being mean to his sister. I also told off my sister-in-law and brother that they are growing insanely cruel towards their young daughter. Now my family is pissed that I refused to give Josh his birthday gift. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. 1. I refused to give my nephew his birthday present. 2. His parents think I have no business interfering in their family. I don't think you're the asshole for this one. I do think it was good of you to refuse to give him his birthday present. And while you don't have business interfering with most other aspects of their family, this definitely is something that I feel you do have business interfering with. You're close to them. It's okay to point out their bad parenting and obvious favoritism. The fact that they tried to cover up and just not talk about what happened at all makes it even more disgusting to me. Shame on them for piling on and bullying their younger daughter. Not the asshole for what you've done, OP. And now in the comments, not the asshole. Make sure you let her know that she has family that does love her and cares about her, because she's likely to need that support as she grows. Be ready to put at a distance and ready to support her when you can. Rarely I have been so infuriated reading a story. That is cruel. And Josh can be on good behavior. Is it some cultural thing that girls are worthless and a nuisance? It is an international cultural thing spanning generations, cultures, and ethnicities. This happens every day in places like the US, UAE, Italy, France, the Netherlands, Australia, Canada, or just to name a country. So many feel like AFABs are just homemakers and incubators. Not the asshole. His parents are just the worst. They are, and they are making a monster. Well done speaking up. Awful parents. Offer to adopt her if you can, as they are negligent. I hope that you're around when she's a teenager and needs somewhere to live, when they find an excuse to kick her out. And OP replies, I come from a family where sons are preferred over daughters. When my sister-in-law found out she was expecting a girl, she wanted to get rid of her, but she was too far along. I did offer to adopt her multiple times, but they have an image to maintain, and they refused to let me. My parents were the same with me. I guess just skate the line of supporting niece and not angering the family enough to get removed from niece's life until she's old enough to make a decision about where to live. I don't know. That's awful, OP. I'm sorry that your family is like that. And now back up to the post, we have an edit. I have picked up my niece from my brother's house this morning. I called him and told him that if she's being so rude to her brother, then maybe she should stay with me for a couple of days to calm down. I had no other choice but to say this. Had to get her out of there. I got her a massive teddy bear which she's keeping in my house, and I took her out to get McDonald's, so she's smiling. But I'm looking for a more permanent solution. Edit 2. Guys, I'll be updating on my own page, but thank you for the incredible advice. I have read all of the comments, but there's a lot going on, so I don't have the strength of mind to reply. But I'll post an update in a couple of days. Fingers crossed it's a positive one. And now, onto the update. It has been a hell of a week. First of all, I want to say thank you for all of the kind comments and messages. I've read all of them. I only managed to respond to some because I was pretty overwhelmed over the whole thing. There was a lot going on as well. As you can tell from my other posts, I'm in the middle of switching careers, so I simply don't have the funds to support my niece. And by that, I mean no one is going to give me my niece to foster because my income is low. I'm a freelance romance writer, and that doesn't really generate a lot of income. I say this because I did seek out advice from social services in my country, and they just shook their head at me. But I'll get to that later. On to the actual update. I did end up taking my niece with me for a few days, and I sat her down and talked to her once she was calm. There were a lot of things that were happening in that house that I was not aware of. My nephew bullies her, and my brother thinks it's funny when she cries. A few months ago, my niece had an accident and fractured her left arm. I was told that she slipped down the stairs. She is clumsy, so I thought that was that. It turned out her brother pushed her down the stairs as a prank, and my brother laughed while she was screaming in pain. I verified the story from a neighbor who told me that she ended up taking her to the hospital. Her father was apparently shouting at her to stop making a racket when she wouldn't stop screaming in pain. I lost it at that. I asked her if her mum knew, and she said yes. Now, my childhood was pretty dark, but not like this. I called my parents and asked her about this incident and a couple of others, and at first they hee-hawed. We don't know, blah blah blah, and then my mum admitted that she knew and that it was just kids being kids. I just saw red at that point. This whole week I've been gathering any bit of evidence that I can find. Finally, I invited over my brother and his wife. I told them that if they didn't get their crap together, I was posting everything on social media. I was going to email it to their companies, friends, and whatnot. Thank you to whomever suggested this. And at first, my brother was furious, and when he tried to attack me, I pointed towards the camera that I have in my living room. I was so angry that I felt like I was numb. I knew that this would destroy my relationship with my entire family, but they left a little girl screaming on the bottom of the stairs, and my brother laughed. I can't get that image out of my head. I told them I could either call the social services in our country and get Lou taken from them, or they could give her to me. The problem with this threat is that if I went to the social services route, I would lose Lou as well. I told them that if they don't want a daughter, they can give her to me. They can pretend she never existed. I was just speaking very quickly at that point. I don't even remember what I said. I would take over her expenses, etc., except for her health insurance and school fees. I told them that they would never have to look at her again. I just kept talking. My sister-in-law started crying how I was taking her child from her. I admittedly got angry over that and reminded her how she wanted to abort Lou when she was pregnant. I was legit angry crying at that moment. I wanted to hit them. My brother was just silent. He was actually considering it. I told them it was better than having their dirty laundry aired in public because if it did, both kids would be removed from their house. It was blackmail, but I had no other options. They said they would think about it, but Lou is with me for now. My sister-in-law was pretty nasty about it too. In her words, keep the little slip on a sun shirt, slop on some sunscreen and slap on a hat, and keep out of the sun, Aussie wisdom. All in my language, of course. I don't know how she can refer to her daughter like this, but honestly, I don't give a crap. Those that aren't looking at the screen, she called her daughter the S word. Don't do that, no no no. My friend is a lawyer, and he has told me to get a voice message from them that Lou is going to stay with me. My sister-in-law said this over the voice note. Lou hasn't mentioned going home. She doesn't want to talk about her parents. Yesterday, she and I went out and bought this lavender color paint, and we painted my entire guest room for her. I have decided to pick up more projects so that I can start saving for her. I did have some money set aside for a potential college fund for her, but I'll be picking up more work to save more and give her a comfortable life. I did get calls from my parents shouting at me. I closed the phone on them. The only person who is supportive is my cousin. He said that if social services do get involved, he can take Lou in and I can move closer to them or something. I don't know. Lou is just quiet. She's happy sometimes, and sometimes she's just quiet. I fear she suffered more abuse in that house than she's letting on. My lawyer friend recommended a child therapist, so I've booked a session for Monday. It's been 3 days, and no call from my brother and sister-in-law. My parents call every now and then to yell at me, but they yell at me either way, so it's like whatever. I feel like this might work because both brother and sister-in-law saw the post I had written out as a draft with pictures and evidence. It was extreme enough that they would suffer damage at their jobs. And news channels in my country eat this crap up, especially if it happens in an educated household. I don't know. I know blackmail is wrong, but I just don't know what to do. And now in the comments, you did the right thing. You saved your niece. I would highly recommend a child therapist, and if there is some way that you could get paperwork from your brother and sister-in-law that is officially giving you custody. Additionally, I am so concerned about sister-in-law referring to her daughter as a little tramp. I have a pit in my stomach thinking about why a woman would say that to a little girl, especially when her brother is 12 years old, and the father laughs at her in pain. She may also need a physical form from a super kind and calm pediatrician, but I would hold off, if she's healthy, until she feels more comfortable and grounded. You have literally changed the trajectory of her life. Thank you. And OP replies, "This is something that worries me as well. I want to ask Lou, but I don't want to phrase it in a way that might trigger something, so I'm going to discuss this with the therapist. If I was OP, I would keep any and every voicemail and text messages from other family members who knew about what was going on with niece in case they try anything. Because due to the fact that OP is helping niece, OP should not put it past anyone right now to pull something to get in the way of helping niece. And the nasty name-calling from her own parents towards Lou. Everything and anything should be kept. I would even insist on texts and emails so everything is recorded. OP should also ask her lawyer friend about recording without knowledge. In her country, it might be legal for such purposes, i.e. family court. It's only a matter of time until one day, Josh starts acting this way towards strangers if he hasn't already done so to other children. I would not be surprised if that kid lands himself in prison because of his actions. Him and his parents won't be laughing then. That will probably be sooner rather than later, now that he's lost his punching bag. Also, people like this need a scapegoat more than a golden child. So there's probably some changes coming to the relationship between the parents and the son, especially if they blame him for what's going on. Well, that's grim. That's the end of the episode, guys. I don't know. I want to say I do hope you enjoyed, but I didn't enjoy that last story. Not one bit. I hate that that's a thing, and I hate that that continues in this world, but that's just how some things are, I guess. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.